This video we are going to learn about the control of a processor unit. Okay, so this is a familiar figure which we have already covered in module 5 when we studied how to design a processor. Okay, so this is nothing but the processor being shown, which we have already studied in the 5th module. Okay, so you need a brush up of what we studied in that 5th module. So I'll just briefly explain what this block diagram means. This is our processor that is being shown. Our processor has a set of registers. It has got an ALU. It has got a status register. The status register denotes the overflow flag, zero flag, sign flag and carry flag. Then you have a shifter that is used to perform any left shift or right shift operations, because shifting is not possible in this ALU unit. ALU obviously will perform all the different arithmetical and logical operations. So this is the entire processor unit, and in this processor unit we have a control word that is used to represent a particular function. Okay, so in this control word it uses 16 bits. Out of that, the first 3 bits of that control word is used to select which register need to be going inside the bus A. Okay, and next 3 bits is used to select which register from the register file need to go inside bus B, and then again D 7, 8 and 9, the next 3 bits is used to select out of these 7 registers which one need to be chosen as the destination, and then the next 3 bits is used to select what function need to be selected from this ALU, whether it is any arithmetical or logical operations that need to be performed. Then 13, one single bit is used to represent the carry in, if any carry is present, that is used to select the function overall, whether it is a logical or arithmetic operation. And then again the next last 3 bits that is inside the H, that is used to denote whether it is a left shift or right shift or whatever is the shifting operation that is required. Okay, based upon the shifting operation and based upon the operations that are carried out in the ALU, these many flags could be set up in the status register. An overflow flag or a zero flag or a sign flag or a carry flag could be set. So this was how an overall block diagram of the processor unit looked like. Okay, which we have already studied. Now here we are going to learn about how microprogrammed controlled unit can be designed, or how a microprogrammed control can be designed inside this processor. Basically, what is the functionality of a control unit? Our control unit is basically an engine that helps to perform different operations through a set of control signals. So every time when a particular operation need to be performed, the control unit will send a control signal, and this control signal will be in a sequential order. So our main control unit is basically an engine that helps in performing different operations inside a computer in a sequential manner. Okay, so in a microprogrammed control unit, what do you mean by microprogrammed control unit? Is that it is a program that is being written. Once the hardware components are being connected together, a program is being written inside the ROM in terms of these words. Okay, and these control memory, or this ROM that we already studied in the previous video, this control memory will have a set of control words. This control words are permanent control words, and these control words will denote different micro operations to be performed, that is the different arithmetical or logical operations that need to be performed. In case of a microprogrammed control unit, apart from this hardware component, there will be a microprogram also written that will be controlling the entire functionality. So whenever a modification or a new operation is need to be incorporated, you needn't change the control memory, or you needn't change the hardware. You can update in the control memory. You can just change the program accordingly. Okay, so that's about the control memory. And coming to the micro program control for processor unit. So this is the diagram which we have to study. Remember, this processor unit is nothing but this entire processor unit. Okay, so everything that is covered in this processor comes inside and it is represented as one single block here. So it is for your understanding. I have put up the other diagram. This is not necessary if you write it for an exam. This is the diagram that shows the micro program control for processor unit. Okay, so this processor unit is that previous diagram which we discussed right now. So how is this micro program control for processor unit works? Okay, so let's see that. As you have seen, we know that in the previous examples or the previous videos which we learned, we just discussed addition or subtraction, or rather we discussed only a few arithmetic operations. But actually our computer is not just designed to perform addition or subtraction. It is supposed to perform different micro operations, a large number of micro operations. So all these micro operations should be stored inside the control memory, or our control memory should be large enough to incorporate all these micro operations. So that is the reason why the control memory is of the size 64 by 26, which means that this control memory can incorporate 64 words and each word is of 26 bits. Okay. Okay, now next thing which we have to discuss is the control address register. Okay, so next we are going to discuss about how a control word from this control memory is being selected, and based upon that how our processor is going to perform the operation. So here also we have a control address register that contains, or that will point to the address where the next operation that need to be executed will reside. Okay, so how is this control address register going to work? So before that, let's see what all are the other things that are written about it. Okay, so let's just have a brief look into what all are those 26 bits represented. I told that there are 64 words. Out of that, each word will have 26 bits. So the first 16 bits is used to select a micro operation. Okay, so these first 16 bits are used to select a micro operation from our processor unit. So from that processor unit, from this ALU, in order to select this function, you basically need to have these 16 bits. So based upon the 16 bits, a particular function is being selected from the processor unit. It could be anything. It could be addition, subtraction, complement, transfer, any operation it could be. Okay, so that is used for that. And then the next bit, 17th bit is used to, or it is used to it is a selection bit for multiplexer 1. Okay, multiplexer 1 will accept address in two ways. Either it could be an address from the control memory that has been pointed by the control memory, or it could be an external address. So whether to select an address pointed by the control memory or whether to select an external address, that has been decided upon by bit 17. Okay, so if bit 17 is 0, that means an external address need to be selected by this multiplexer, and that need to be loaded into the control address register. If this selection bit is 1, it means that the address need to be loaded directly from the control memory to the multiplexer, and from the multiplexer it will go into the control address register. Okay, so the 17th bit is for that. Next 3 bits, 18 to 20, those 3 bits are need to select which functionality from this multiplexer 2 need to be selected. As you know, from the processor unit, only the status bits are being given to this multiplexer. See, here in this processor unit you have a status register. So these status bits are being actually passed into this multiplexer. So 7 bits are basically used to denote the status bits from this multiplexer. Out of that, the first is defaultly given as 1. Okay, the value is 1. Then the next bit is carry flag, and whatever is the value in the carry flag, its complement is now the second bit. Then the third is the 0 flag, and whatever is the 0, its complement will be 4th. Then the sign flag, its complement is 6th, and then the overflow flag. Okay, so based upon this, a selection is need to be made. So 18, 19 and 20, those 3 bits are used to select from these 8 bits, that is 2 raised to 3, that is 8. So out of that 8 operations or 8 values to select, you need at least 3 bits. So that is why these 3 bits are being used to select. So if these 3 bits are 0, 0 and 0, then what will happen? Whatever is present here in 0th bit, that is 1 will be given here. If 1 is the load input, if 1 is given or selected as the multiplexer entry, what it means is that load an input from an address field or from an external address. Okay, so if 1 is the selection bit that is selected here, then the meaning is that the control address register need to be loaded with an external address or with an address field. Okay, now if it was 0, 0, 1, suppose if 18, 19, 20 bit is 0, 0, 1, it is 0, 0, 1 means now corresponding to 1, whatever is the flag that need to be chosen. Suppose if carry was 0, then the selection bit is 0. If 0 is the selection bit, then what happens? Then if 0 is the selection bits, then what happens is that you have to increment the control address register. Okay, so if 0 is the selection bit, load input need to be incremented. Now whatever happens if C dash, okay, if carry, since it is 0, carry dash C dash is 1. So if 1 has been selected, then the load input here is either from an address field or from an external address. So depending upon the values in this mux2, these particular lines will work. If it is 1, an input is being loaded from the address field or from an external address. If it is 0, it is an increment of the current address present in the control address register. So understood? So all these bits could either be 0 or it could be 1. So if it is 1, then it is a loading from the address field or external address based upon this selection line. If it is 0, then it is an increment of the current address in the control address register. Okay, so that is how this entire microprogram control for processor unit will work. Okay, so now the next, these 3 bits, okay, 21 to 26, these bits are used to represent the address field, that is whatever is the address that is present here, that is being loaded into the mux1 and then finally into the current address register. So totally these 26 bits, 16 bits to select the function, 1 bit to select this mux1, 3 bits to select from mux2, and the remaining bits to load address into the mux1. So this will carry the total 26 bits. That's been shown here. Okay, now all this which I have already discussed, control address register will hold the address for the control memory. It is a counter with a parallel load capacity. We know that it is a counter which have a parallel load capacity. And about the 17-bit I have already discussed. Now enabling the load control of CAR, that is the status bits from the processor are applied to the input of the multiplexer. We already saw that it is the status bits that are being applied to the multiplexer too. So both normal and complement values are used except for the overflow bit. Overflow bit doesn't have a complement value. The remaining all flags or bits have a complement value. Okay. The input address is loaded into CAR if the selected bit is 1, but CAR is incremented if the selected bit is 0. So the input address will be loaded to the CAR if the selected bit is 1. If 1 is being selected here, if 1 is being selected from any of these status bits, then it will be loading from the external address or address field. If it is 0, then it is an increment operation. So as we have already seen all those things. Now next we are going to see the last part. How is this status bit being designed, or how is the status bit being controlled? To construct a correct microprogram, it is necessary to specify exactly how the status bits are affected after each micro operation. So if it is an addition or a subtraction, or it is a transfer operation, after each micro operation we should specify how will be the status bit will be. Okay, we need to specify it correctly for the microprogram to run correctly. So we have found out that the sign and the 0 bit, that is the sign flag and the 0 bit flags, are affected by all operations. So irrespective of any operation that is being done, always the sign flag and 0 flag are affected. But the carry flag and the overflow flag are not affected by the following ALU operations. For all the logical operations, that is for the 4 logical operations, the carry and the overflow flag are not affected. We know that for OR, AND, XOR and complement operations, the carry and the overflow doesn't get affected, right? Similarly, for increment and decrement also, carry and overflow flag doesn't get affected, but sign and 0 flag will get affected for all the operations. Okay, and for all other operations, the output carry from the ALU goes to the C bit of the status register. The C bit is also affected after a circular shift. So the C bit is affected after all other operations. Even after a circular shift with the carry operation also, C bit will be affected. Okay, so what we understood from this is that this carry flag and 0 flag will get affected or will get some value or will get changed after any operation that happens inside the processor unit. But it is not necessary that the sign flag and the 0 flag, the carry flag and the overflow flag doesn't get affected if it is for a logical operations like AND or complement, etc. Okay, so for the 4 logical operations, our overflow and the carry won't get affected, but our 0 flag and sign flag will get affected. Okay, so in a way, our processor unit, after an arithmetical or logical operation, some of these flags will be set. Okay, so based upon that particular set value, our load input is being decided. Okay, so that's how the entire working of the control of the processor unit will looks like. So this is the diagram which you have to study and draw, the microprogram control for the processor unit, and you need to explain how this value gets loaded into the CAR and what is the role of all these 26 bits.